Now we'll look obligation and option today, and we have certain sentences, and we need to decide if the explanation which follows each one is true or false. Underline the correct answer, means you have to underline true or false, and use the words and phrases in bold to help you decide. First is given to you. During the exam, a pencil and eraser are required. Then we have the people organizing the exam will provide you with pencil and an eraser. This is false. Sometime, in various countries, government may provide if the examination is controlled by the government, then they may provide, but it's not true always. Second, parents can be made liable for their children's debts. Debts is the money people have taken some from someone, or children who have borrowed from someone. So parents may be legally responsible for the money their children owe. Is that correct? For children, yes, this is true. Then third, he was obliged to pay back the money that he had won. Obliged to, liable for, required. So he had the choice whether or not to pay back the money that he had won, right? Which is false or true? Third is false. He had to pay the money back. He had to pay the money back. Then the fourth one. Students doing holiday jobs are exempted from paying income tax. Exempted. Then students doing holiday jobs pay a small amount of income tax than other people. Is that correct or incorrect? Exempted from. Fourth means false. False. Because if it is being said that they are exempted from paying income tax, then if they are exempted, then they don't have to pay even a small amount. Fifth one, the United Nations voted to impose a mandatory sanctions on the country. Mandatory, please understand, mandatory. It's necessary. It's not necessary or sufficient. Mandatory means forced upon. It has to be there. Then the United Nations imposed legally binding sanctions which had to be obeyed by everyone without exemption. Fifth, it is absolutely correct, because it has to be followed, it has to be obeyed, and it has to be abided by. Sixth, some companies force their employees to work long hours for low pay. Force. A lot of companies ask their employees to work long hours. 6. Is it true or false? False. The companies make them to work long hours. The employees have no choice. They are forcing them, so they have no choice. 7. It was an emergency and she pressed the red button. There was no alternative. There is no option, no other way, no alternative. Now to the italic one. There are nothing else she could do. There was nothing else she could do. She had to set off the alarm by pressing the red button. This is absolutely true, because there was no other option. 8. Classes on Wednesday afternoons are optional. Then it is necessary to attend classes on Wednesday afternoons. So 8th one is false. 8th one is false. You can attend the classes if you want to, right? Because they are optional. Option means you have an option, yes or no, go or no go. 9. It is compulsory to wear a crash helmet on a motorcycle. Compulsory. Then in italic, it is your choice whether or not to wear a crash helmet when you ride a motorcycle. Compulsory. your choice. No, they both can't go together. So ninth is false because you must wear a crash helmet. We can also use the word obligatory here. Obligatory. The museum is asking visitor for a voluntary donation of $2. You don't need to pay some amount to visit the museum. That is correct because voluntary means it's your choice. If you are willing, you pay. Otherwise, you don't. The second one is complete these sentences with an appropriate word or phrase from the exercise above. These words, you might have noticed all these words up till now. In some cases, more than one answer may be possible. So let us try and solve these. First, visitors to the country are dashed to declare any excess tobacco or alcohol imposed to the custom officer. The answer will be required. Required or obliged. Obliged. Required or obliged you can use. Second, I'm afraid I have dashed but to resign from the committee. I'm afraid I have no alternative but to resign from the committee. Third, if you are caught speeding, you will be liable to the payment of the fine, liable to pay the payment of the fine. So you are going to use liable for. Exactly, liable for will be good. Liable for the payment of the fine. Fourth, attendance at all classes is dash. Otherwise, you may not get a certificate at the end of the course. So you will use here compulsory or mandatory. Both you can use here. Fifth one. Many retired people do dash work in their local community. Many retired people do voluntary work in their local community. Sixth, in some countries there is a dash death sentence for all drug traffickers. Sixth, mandatory death sentence. Some countries, mandatory death sentence. For visitors to Britain from outside the European Union, a visa may be required. Then eighth, I hate it when people try to dash me to do something I don't like. You can use force here. People force me. Force. Ninth, most new cars come with dash air conditioning. Optional air conditioning. Optional it is. 10th, children clothes are dashed from VAT, exempted from VAT. So this was about obligation and option. Thank you so much.